This is McCook's Mr. Bilson. Honored to have you here. You're looking at a big old trap. Over 80 years old this trap is. 80 years. Still works perfectly good. The rust helps it catch critters. Doesn't hurt it. Absolutely. And it'll probably last for another 100 years. 100 years. It'll still be usable. So maybe the next time you hit a yard sale and can find them for a few dollars, you might want to buy a few. Even if you tell yourself right now, I would never consider trapping an animal, making an animal suffer, getting his foot caught in that. But on the day after event, when whatever you've planted, if the coons come in there and start raiding your corn crop or whatever you're trying to grow, or any critters, this is going to prevent it. Plus, it will offset whatever losses you have with the hide and the meat that critter can provide your family. Absolutely, on a day after event. So, a lot of people talk about gold and silver, or they talk about firearms for the day after. But rest assured, a trap is something that can be set 24 hours a day. You don't have to hunt 24 hours a day. It does it for you. Or it protects you or your crops. You know, for a few dollars, it would be worth considering having a few. I wouldn't publicize it. Nowadays, the PETA and the animal rights people are real big against this kind of thing. But the day after, when the hordes of people are starving to death, in fact, probably starting to eat humans, this will look awful good. Like this little bitty conibear. Rest assured, though, it's as efficient and deadly as possible with the size limits that it has. An ultra lightweight. But say you want some other kind of a trap. Perhaps you want something like this. This is almost 100 years old, and it's still functioning, and it's a sparrow trap. You'd say, who would want to catch sparrows? Well, the bottom line is, my folks talked about in the late 29, when the Depression hit, and there wasn't much to eat, they caught sparrows in this kind of a trap. They caught them and they ate sparrows. No, there wasn't much to eat on them, but it was better than nothing for meat, absolutely. And in the war years, when they limited the amount of meat that you could have, again, you could catch some meat on your own. A little bitty guy like this, and it catches them alive, you bet. Works quite well, and you can catch an awful lot of sparrows with something just like this. Not counting, if you purchase things like this, just put them off to the side if you've got some room. These things never go down in value, I have found. They are getting more and more expensive simply because they aren't made anymore. Another item that you can consider are fish traps. Now these are just minnow traps, but of course you could install them into the fish line if you so desired. And good little fish traps for the minnows. Yeah, you could eat a minnow, but theoretically you'd use that then to catch bigger fish. Something like this, ultra lightweight, doesn't take up much room. In fact, you could use it, you can use it as storage until that day when you actually would need a fish trap. Or a little waste baskets, things like that. Utilize what you got for today, but if tomorrow comes and it's a day after event, you are ahead of the crowd. Now I'm going to show you this little guy. This was given to me by my uncle, old CHARLY BARTLETT. Wonderful man, and his wife, BERTHA. They never had any children, but they sure treated most of us kids like they were their kids. You know the kind of people. And he was a fisherman's fisherman. And what he gave me was this little guy. And this is over 100 years old. And it's a fish trap. You'd unscrew the lid to get them out, of course. And it's literally made with 3 openings for minnows to get in. Have I ever caught anything with it? Absolutely. When I was a kid, I set it out and I caught 3 baby catfish. I said baby catfish. I was so proud. In fact, we wouldn't kill them. We took and put them in the house, and I made my mother, use one of her bowls, and we kept them stupid fish around for over a year. Over a year. Nowadays, I wouldn't begin to risk it. I've had a guy offer me a $100 bill for this. I said a $100 bill, and I turned it down, simply because it was a gift from my uncle, one of the very few I have from him. So it's too important. But with that in mind, there's a lot of reasons for you to consider traps. There's a wide range to have, and you can have other uses for them today, or on the day after event, it might mean the difference between life and death.